our sixth panelist, Dr. Peggy Gerard. Peggy is Interim Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Provost, Purdue University, Calumet. Please welcome Dr. Peggy Gerard.
Well, good afternoon, and I want to thank John Davies and the Society of Innovators for inviting me to share my thoughts on innovations in higher education by 2014. I was going to talk a little bit about the imperative for higher education and the need for us to greatly accelerate the number of students that have degrees to meet the future demands of our workforce and our local economy. Linda has already done a great job with that, so I can skip over to the next section. But I do feel that there are great challenges for higher education, and we need to be building on some of the things we're already doing that I'm going to show you in a minute or two. Thinking about new ways to take the technologies that are out there and available and that our students and all of us are using them, but bringing them to the education environment and creating a very vibrant situation where students are not passive learners but active creators of knowledge. And then there's ways that we can collaborate also, that we need to do a better job within the higher education institutions in the area. So by working like that, we can improve educational attainment, we can increase economic opportunity, all the while we're preparing a competent workforce. So how do we accomplish this? I think we can accomplish this in three different ways, three different focuses. One is by reaching farther. We need to, as higher ed institutions, we need to reach out to the communities and to the K through 12 educational partners to help teachers and help students learn new ways of learning. We need to embrace new technologies, as I said before, and we need to expand collaborations. So let's talk a little bit about each of these things. One of the things that we're doing at Purdue Calumet, and Civis is a partner, integral partner of that, is something called Mission Ocean. Mission Ocean was developed originally in 1997 by a team of faculty here at Purdue Calumet, and then was revamped in 2009 by Chen and her colleagues. And it includes immersive virtual reality, and the focus is to help elementary and middle school teachers to deliver math, science, and technology through collaborative teaching methods based on deep sea submarine research and rescue simulations. So it's basically taking like a video game technology that we know how much our kids really enjoy that, and our grandkids, and put them in this environment and create it so that they're learning in spite of themselves, almost to speak. They are learning while they think they're playing, in other words. And we're teaching the teachers how to create situations that help students to do this. And you can see the picture on the right that shows the students with the 3D glasses on, like all of us were wearing a few minutes ago, but the intensity on those students' faces and how much they're engaged in that whole process. So Mission Ocean is an example of what we are currently doing, an example of innovation, but an example of things that we need to build on through employing new technologies. Slightly less technical, but also innovative types of program of reaching out to our K through 12 partners is the sailing program by the Indiana Sailing Association. Jeff Barrows is a faculty member at Purdue Calumet, and Jeff has established this organization in 1989 to sponsor youth sail training. But the idea was not just to get students out into the lake sailing, take advantage of the beautiful environment we have in this area, but the idea was to teach these students that there are opportunities out there that they may not have ever dreamed about before. And they teach them math skills, they teach them science skills. But again, it's a situation where the students are having so much fun, they don't even know that they're learning until they actually bring it back to them and say, you know what you just did? You used geometry when you did this. And they're amazed, and sometimes this is what hooks kids on the idea of going on to explore a career in the sciences, going on to the idea of going to college, getting additional degrees. So this is an example, again, of something that is really something innovative and engaging that we need to be doing more of, and we need to be thinking about, are there other things that we can do to engage students in a little bit different way and make them start thinking about these possibilities? Jeff told me to let you all know that they not only teach STEM education, they teach STEAM education because they integrate science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. So the addition of the arts is the important part of that. So the second way I think that higher education needs to come to the forefront in terms of innovation is the embracing of new technologies. We need to become tech fluencers. And I had never heard of this term before I started doing some research for this presentation, but it really describes to me what higher education needs to be about. And Chen's Civic Center here is a great example of that. But more of us need to be doing these types of things. So we need to be individuals and institutions that are driving innovation and making a commitment to developing cutting-edge research and also technology. In the education area, we need to be thinking about how do we use all these emerging technologies like these Google glasses, and you see them up here, and they come in many colors, and figuring out how we can use those new technologies to engage our students in higher education, to be more effective at what we do, and to be able to, again, transform the learning environment from an environment where there's passive learners that are recipients of knowledge, and change that to people that are fully engaged in the learning process and actually creating knowledge. So we need to look at some of these technologies. The Google glasses, how many of you have a pair of Google glasses? One, yay, good for you. I was very excited to learn today that we have some because I have lots of ideas of how we can use this and how we educate our nursing students. But basically, they're like a cell phone almost in eyeglasses, and they're verbal command. They respond to verbal commands, and so some examples of how these have been used in higher education is to create videos from the perspective of the person that is doing the activity. So think about how that might impact some of the education and training of skills that we do today. We can do videos of people performing skills, and that gives people a certain perspective. We have this immersive technology, but quite frankly, it's expensive and time-consuming to develop, so it needs to be reserved for specific applications. But something like this, an instructor can go in an area, say a doctor can go into surgery, put the Google glasses on, video what the whole process of making the incision, doing the surgery, and then upload that video to medical students who can then begin to see what it is when they go in there and they begin to operate on somebody. They know exactly what more of what that experience is actually going to be like. You know, what an amazing thing. What an amazing creation. The Pebble Watch is another example. That's basically a watch cell phone. And that's another area that is able to be used quite a bit in education. Very similar to how we use some of our cell phones right now in classes. And the last area is to take advantage of gaming technologies that, similar to that Mission Ocean, but doing it at a higher level that will engage our educational students. And then finally, Northwest Indiana higher education needs to focus on expanding collaborations. We need to do a better job of collaborating between Ivy Tech and higher four-year institutions like Purdue Calumet, Purdue North Central, Valparaiso University, IU Northwest, so that so that we make the process of moving students from Ivy Tech into the four-year universities seamless and very easy to manage, so that students not only will graduate from a college degree, but they'll do so in 3 years or 4 years, not 6 years or 10 years. We also need to engage the higher education community with the community around us. So Chen's area, we need to be doing things like what Civis is doing. We need to be partners with business and industry, and we're doing some of those things now, but we need to continue to create and to do more of that. And finally, I can't end this without saying that higher ed in 2014 will mean a new Purdue University for Northwest Indiana. When I was given this and asked to speak here today, that wasn't the case, but this idea of innovation is actually exemplified by this idea of the unification of the two campuses. And I think that new campus will allow us to have a more vibrant university in Northwest Indiana, bigger Purdue presence, expansion of programs while still providing an affordable education. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Peggy.